Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday morning to you all. Happy Friday, absolutely happy Friday. I hope the week has treated you very, very well. In this video, we're talking about a potential reveal. Right, I think I'm back. I think I am back. Yes, I'm back. Hello. Welcome back to the Inside Spurs live stream. So sorry for that. Basically my MacBook just went, you have connection issues. And when I went to reset it, it was like, you have excellent connection. And I'm like, right, what are we doing then, Chief? What are we doing? Sorry, we're talking about Joao Palhinha's potential revelation in his valuation. James Mcatee, an update surrounding the interest in the Manchester City youngster. There's a new link from Florian Plettenberg discussing Victor Froholdt, the Copenhagen, depending on who you ask, wonderkid, Manor Solomon, and an update surrounding him potentially coming back to Spurs' first team for next season. So plenty of good stuff to talk about. I won't dilly-dally because I'm already 2 minutes in and I'm fuming that that's happened, but I won't dilly-dally. I've got to go get a haircut in about an hour. So got to get on with it. Plus, he's a gooner, the hairdresser. So that's going to be really fun. He hasn't seen me since the final. Morning, Tom. How are you? Morning, Sean. Sean already with a super chat when I wasn't even live. Sean, you bloody legend. Absolute bloody legend. I do have a drink this time. It's a raspberry and rhubarb sparkling water. So cheers to you, Sean. You absolute legend. Morning, Luke, XL, Steve, Adventurous, Milton, Sonia. Yeah, how are we all? Milton, how are you, bud? Hope you're keeping well. Pitchside Pulse, Sean. I know Sean's from Vietnam. Sean, you don't need to tell me you're from Vietnam. I know you're from there, big man. Let's jump in and let's talk. And let's start with Joao Palhinha, the Bayern Munich midfielder. We've got linked to him. What was it? Yesterday, I think it was. And we went through some of the things about Joao Palhinha, and I wasn't too keen on him. But let's talk about what this one is. So it came from Christian Falk, who said that Bayern would be willing to listen to offers of 30 to 35 million euros. So let's call it 27 to 30 million pounds, okay? Just somewhere within that realm, okay? I still don't view him as a guy who suits a team that plays higher up the field. I believe he struggles with such vast quantities of pitch behind him where he would have to defend. There's one strand of hair that won't sit down. There we go. And when he was in the Premier League, obviously he had a pretty naff disciplinary record, you know, and it's not. He wouldn't suit Ange, in my opinion. Okay, he wouldn't. Now, look, if we go and get a manager who sits back in his own half a little bit more, fantastic player. Now, the fact that he is 30 early next month, so he's 30 for next season, I've always had a thing about it, Sane included. He's 30. He's not going to get any better. He's only going to get worse. So you're buying him for, let's say, 30 million, right? Which in today's market isn't a ton of money, right? Which is weird to say because 30 million pounds is a huge chunk of money. Like if someone offered me 30 million pounds to never YouTube again, I'd tell him get stuffed because I'm always here. But if they say you don't have to work again, I'd go, yes, please, right? We'd all do it. I'd be in Australia. They said you have 30 million, you have to go to Australia and have a pint with Steve. I'd go make it like 60 million, but I'll do 30 million without Steve. All right. You know, that's the thing. It's a crazy amount of money, but in today's market, it's not. But the issue that I have with it is he's probably on like 180, 200 grand a week, right? Maybe even a little bit more. Bayern obviously pay a little bit more on their wages. We will understand that. He didn't do very well for Bayern this season. Didn't even play 1,000 minutes. Okay. Not great. Not great. Like I said, doesn't suit Ange, and yet, okay, maybe if you get Thomas Frank, he maybe suits Thomas Frank a bit more. All I'm going to say is, by the way, not talking Ange. Until something comes out about Ange, I'm not talking about him, okay? So I'm not interested if he's here or not. When we talk transfers, it's all on the premise that he is the manager. Because guess what? Right now, he is the manager. Okay. So there's nothing on Ange. There's nothing to talk about. We move on. Okay. He wouldn't suit us. He wouldn't. 30. He's what? He's going to want at least a 3-year deal, 200 odd grand a week. He's probably not going to be the player that you want after 2 years. Can you move him on when he's on such money? Okay, if Saudi Arabia comes knocking, but for some reason Saudi Arabia don't come knocking for any of our players, but come knocking for Chelsea's and Villas, and that sort of thing. So you'd be stuck with him. And that's the attitude that I had with Sane. Sane for this season, okay, if it was a season-long loan or 1-year deal, fine, but it's not. It's going to be a 3 or 4-year deal. It's going to be a really expensive deal in essence. Is he still going to be good enough in 2 years' time? Probably not, if I'm honest, because his whole thing is pace. And look at Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker was really great like a couple of years ago, and now AC Milan don't want him, even want him, and they're not a very good team. So you have to be wary about these players as they're getting past 30. They are on the back 9 of their career. They're not on the front 9 anymore. And when Ange talks about experienced players, he doesn't mean these sort of experienced players. What he meant is, hey, this guy's 23, but he's played 4 years of top flight football. That's experienced. Hey, this guy's had, 3 years, 1 in the Championship, 2 in the Premier League. He's played over 100 times for the club that's that's experienced. I said about Garnacho, whether you want him or not, it's just the example. He's what, 20? He's played over 150 times for Man United. That's experience, So that's my attitude when it comes to, well, he might be 21, you know what I mean? That's what he means. So you still get a big runway of value. It's not going to be crazy expensive. If you buy someone who's 27, it's going to be expensive. They've hit their prime. This is the best they're going to be. But also, you need to look at, and I've been trying to say this for a little while. When we buy players, we need to treat it the way they do in America, right? So the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, the MLB. MLB is a bit more of a difficult one. They a lot of their big deals don't work out, right? But the NFL is big on this. You reward a player for the ability they've shown you, for the production they've given, and this could be a player in your own team, like a contract extension, or buying a player, right? But you're not buying them for what they are right now. If you're giving them a 4-year deal, you're buying them to say, yeah, but in the next 4 years we value at this level. But in essence, if you're going to be this level, then that's a bad deal, right? So even though you might spend a year at this level, if you drop, well, that's not what you were bought for. You were bought for this level, right? So when you think about a 30-year-old who, let's be real, they are going to take a backward step within the next couple of years, right? You're no longer buying them for this level, and the contract that reflects it for, let's say, 200 grand a week. If they are, what you bought them for was this, but they're now this, then that's a bad deal. You've not got bang for your buck. It's like Sonia says, it's an investment for the future as well as an investment for now. And Palhinha is good for the now, but in 2 years' time, I don't think he's going to be even near as good as he is right this second. And I don't think he was very good last season, if I'm honest, because Goretzka is someone they've tried to throw out the club because of his contract and the performance level hasn't matched it. They had to bring him back. You're welcome. They had to bring him back ahead of Palhinha. Stanisic, not Stanisic, Pavlovic ahead of Palhinha. And they spent 50 odd million on him. They're trying to get off a bad investment. We shouldn't be the team that gives them the money for their bad investment. They'll make a loss on him because they spent 50 million on him, whatever, or 42 and a half, I think it was, that could raise something like that. They're willing to accept less. They are trying to get off this deal. They're trying to save the money on the wages and things like that. We shouldn't be the team that helps them out there. Okay. You know what I mean? Morning in MS, Stu. How are we all? Which deal we have to get no matter what? Eze for me. Andy Levy, new Spurs CEO, let our voices be heard. Mate, if I was a new CEO, I'd be telling all the board going, right, listen here. You, shut up. Listen here. You as well. Shut up. Listen here. Have you seen that video of when in WWE back in there when Stone Cold Steve Austin became the president for a little while? That was me. That would be me. I'll have a beer. I'll have a beer and I'll have a beer. Garnacho, Garnacho, I don't mind Garnacho. I think he's a decent talent. It's about the value. And you have to be worried about some of the comments that he's been making, you know. Adente's been a member for 5 months. Thank you, Andy. You're bloody legend for this bloody epic stream. Big up all in the chat. Thanks for all the channel support and likes. Have a great weekend. Adente, cheers to you, my friend. Absolute legend of the chat. Absolute legend. Moving on. We've got more to talk about. This is going to be a good little vibe, this one. Obviously, if any breaking news happens whilst I'm live, by the way, just send it. Either send it in the Discord or send it in the chat. I'll try and read it. Moving to James Mcatee, someone that we've been linked to, the Manchester City youngster. VfB Stuttgart have added James Mcatee to their shortlist. They're monitoring his situation closely, have already gathered all the relevant information. Frankfurt have also made an inquiry while Bayer Leverkusen are showing interest, though nothing concrete has happened yet, especially with Leverkusen. Obviously, Ten Hag's just gone in, so it's going to take a little bit of time for them to start really moving on all their deals. I know Frimpong's gone. Wirtz looks like he'll go. Jonathan Tah has gone. He goes at the end of the month, but he's pretty much gone. He also has interest from Italy. Mcatee is very interested in the opportunity to play in the Bundesliga. So someone that we've been linked to who I think there's a talent there in Mcatee. I think there really is a talent. And watching him for Man City, I watched him. He played against us in the Carling Cup when they sort of didn't really bother. And I remember watching him and I thought, that looks like that's the next one off the conveyor belt. You know, the Cole Palmers, the Oscar Bobs. Before that's the Phil Foden, you know, the Rico Lewis. You know, it's the next one off the conveyor belt of quality. Simpson Pusey, I think, is the centre back. You know, the conveyor belt of, you know, very good quality youngsters coming through at Man City. He's the next one off the block. I really do think Mcatee is going to be a good player. If I was Mcatee, the Bundesliga is a super exciting league. And you're going to Leverkusen, who's the second best team in Germany. I know Xabi Alonso's moved on. I know they're losing Wirtz and Tah and Frimpong, but you still get Hincapie. You still get Tapsoba, Alex Grimaldo. Xhaka's been really good there for them. Boniface and Sheik are still there. Hradeki's still there. You know, there's still some players at Leverkusen. There'll still be a top 4 side next year as long as Ten Hag doesn't absolutely poo the bed. And he would get good minutes there because, especially in the attacking, you know, the guys that play behind the strikers, if I'm honest, watching some of them, like he's a better option in behind the striker than a Nathan Teller, an Adley. You know what I mean? He would get really good minutes. He'll get Champions League football. Yeah, I think that's a solid one with Stuttgart. Obviously, Stuttgart are no mugs. I think it's been a difficult season this year. Obviously, they had European football. They obviously lost Guirassy to Dortmund, you know. But I think, again, that's not an awful move. And, yeah, there are teams in the Premier League that will be lurking around, and we are one that is lurking around James Mcatee. I like him. I think you're going to get people that go, great, but he's not a ready-to-go guy. You know, he's not the experienced players that, you know, Ange has called for. This is a club signing. I've got a feeling that, yes, I agree. And this is my view on that sort of idea. I agree to a point, but we can't just completely snub our nose at every young player in football just because all we want is these experienced 25-year-olds. What you need to do, and we haven't done this, and this is what I've always sort of cried out for, you know, under Parachi, we didn't bother enough with some of the youngsters. With Johan Lang, where we're going to talk about Froholdt in a minute, we spend a little bit too much time on the youngsters. We need to find that middle ground, right? Where if you sign 5 players in the summer, minimum 3 are experienced, 2 youngsters, or even 1 youngster and 4 experience. You need to be making sure you're topping up the guys that are in the squad right now. And then as you've been buying these youngsters, they will come through and start to replace. And then actually you don't have to go as far into that world. Maybe you get a bit more into the youngster side of things. You know, Man City obviously having a big summer this summer. Ryan Cherky scores an absolute banger yesterday and gets the assist for the ball into Kolomuani. Bonkers game yesterday. Spain absolutely annihilating France, and then France make it a game right at the end to make it 5-4. But Cherky's good value. Reinder's very solid midfielder. But, they've been working on their youngsters. They've been trying to bring through things like that. Chelsea have been trying to do things like that. I think Liverpool, in a way, have been trying to improve, their young players. And I think it's something that we're trying to do, but we also have to fix the now. With a lot of these teams, their now is competitive in title hunts, competitive in cup competitions, and winning things. We, on the other hand, it's not, by the way, this isn't a pro or anti-Ange argument. This is just a reality. We were 8th before Ange came in. And we then got rid of loads of experienced players and then replaced them with youngsters. Not exactly setting your manager up to succeed. It's setting up the business to benefit. Oh, look, Lucas Bergvall for 8.5 million. Oh, that's brilliant. Ange then coached him up and everything, which drives people up the wall that apparently Lucas Bergvall's done this all on his own. He's had zero coaching, right? Bring in those sort of players. And I know that Archie Gray was meant to really be a guy that we were going to go for this summer. Brentford kind of forced our hand on that. But look at, obviously, the idea that you need to fix the now. Now, the irony is, obviously, Archie Gray and Bergvall are going to be first-team players going forward, especially Bergvall, who was up there with Player of the Season. But, we bought Jesse Adogi and loaned him straight out. We did it with Pape. We've done it with others. And there's great youngsters coming through, but they're not ready right this second. And that's the issue. We haven't got enough ready to go, guys. And we need to be better at that balance, Morning, Janice. How are you? John, yourself, how are you? Ed, how are you? Diggers He, how are you? So, look, there is that side of things on Mcatee. Moving on, though, because there's still more. There's still more. You're sitting there going, Andy, there can't be more. Well, you're wrong. Okay. Don't you feel foolish? All right. Froholdt, actually, sorry, let me come back to that. I just skipped past him. This obviously wound up Spurs Twitter yesterday because Spurs Twitter is a very toxic place, again, due to the Ange situation, but they get wound up by anything and everything that isn't basically Eberechi Eze. But Plettenberg, again, with an exclusive that Tottenham Hotspur have entered the race for top talent, Victor Froholdt. Frankfurt are actively pursuing him. Leverkusen have also added him to the shortlist. Frankfurt, Leverkusen, and Spurs just need to get a room because it's getting a bit weird. We all seem to love the same targets. The 19-year-old central midfielder is under contract with Copenhagen until the summer of 2028. Several other top European clubs are also monitoring him closely. Now, if you do not know who Victor Froholdt is, don't worry about it because in the Discord, I'd sent a link about this, but I spent time watching him yesterday, which I think was the weirdest thing I've ever done. But there's this. I'll tell you exactly. I like Oscar Bob. Yeah, I think he's a proper player. Eve as well, mate. How are you? Victor Froholdt. So, a lot of people go, oh, he's a blonde young midfielder. That's just Lucas Bergvall. He's not, in my opinion, like Lucas Bergvall. There's similar qualities, but it's not exactly what you would think. He's 19, okay? He actually shares the same birthday as me. We are exactly 10 years apart. He's born on the February 25th, 2006. I'm February 25th, 1996. So 10 years apart. He's a central midfielder. Apparently can play a bit of wing, but I'm not sure about that personally. Contract, like I say, expires in summer of 2028. Chance market value at 2 million euros. He'll probably be closer to the Lucas Bergvall total, something around 8.5, 10 million. He's played 53 times this season across the Superliga, the Conference League qualifiers, the Superliga Championship round, and the Oddset Pokalen. Not sure what that is. Excuse me. So he's played 53 times. He's scored 6 goals and 5 assists. So 11 goal contributions from central midfield for him. Not bad, actually. He's played just under 3,500 minutes of football. Okay. Now, watching Victor and sort of getting a grasp of, things that he does well and things that maybe he struggles with. And Baz had tweeted me saying, what is my thoughts on Froholdt. So hang on, let me get up what I exactly said to him. Where? Here we go. So I said, talented. He's a direct runner, good with both feet, takes risks on the ball, especially versus the press. It's good and bad. I think he's more of an 8 than a 6, and some people view him as a 6, which is fair enough. Like, I don't think it's not that he couldn't play there. I just look at him more as an 8 personally. Very direct runner. Like, he gets the ball. He's a powerful runner. You see it. You know, it's not get the ball, pass it 8 yards sideways. It's get the ball and I'm going. If I'm not going to be able to pass that ball, I'm going to go with the ball. Which, like I said, it's risky, especially when he plays against the press with his back to the defenders. Oh, I've got breaking news. Not on Ange, don't worry. Right, I'm just going to bring this in really quickly. Olympique Marseille reach verbal agreement, sign Angel Gomez on a free. So Spurs will miss out on Angel Gomez. There you go. That's from Fabrizio Romano, literally just now. If you want to go and check out the tweet for yourself, by all means. But we were obviously supposedly supposed to sign him 2 days ago, Ben Jacobs says. That was wrong. People, I think, have really brought Ben Jacobs up to like the Fabrizio level. And, well, that's kind of gone wrong. But there goes another target gone with Spurs dilly-dallying. Obviously, it might not have been a case that Spurs were going to sign him, by the way. Let's be real there, but it's another one being linked to. So, yeah, let's see on that one. But yeah, that's not happening. Angel Gomez looking like he's going to go and join De Zerbi and Marseille. Obviously, Rabiot may leave. I don't know what's going on there. So maybe that. Maybe that. But yes, on Froholdt. By the way, great name. I forgot to say. He has an amazing birthday, but he's got a great name. Very direct runner, very powerful runner. You know, when it comes to the press with his back to ball, because he is quite a strong guy, he does sort of ride a challenge really well. Something that I've noticed actually with Lucas Bergvall, young player coming in, normally you would think, oh, is he a bit slight? Is he not developed enough, you know, in terms of, you know, physique? And actually Bergvall was bodying people. Froholdt is a bit like that. I actually kind of look at Froholdt and go, actually, could he be physically more ready for the Premier League than a Bergvall was? I think Bergvall first maybe struggled, but really quickly got to grips with it. You know, if you're one of those people that say we should have loaned Bergvall out in January, you can very much just get in the bin because you look like a fool. Not as much as me saying that Rafinha wasn't the player that I wanted last summer. So you're a fool, but not that bad. I'm a bigger fool. But no, Froholdt, I think, is a really talented player. Again, I get why people go, that's great, but can we not get someone that's, you know, instead of a wonder kid, he's a wonder man. He's a wonder now. And I do get that. I totally get that. I don't want to completely neglect going for these wonder kids. I don't want to neglect it. I think Spurs have the ability to really bring through some youngsters. I think Mikey Moore's a bit of a wonder kid. You know, we got a few young strikers, one of which you'd hope turns out to be half decent. You know, there's guys who are about 16, 17 that are really starting to come through, looking really, really solid. Let's keep adding the Bergvalls and the Archie Grays, you know, keep adding Yashi Phillips and the Vuskoviches. You know, let's not turn our nose up against it. Because all it takes is one or two of them to like really nail it. And that value for money is incredible. You know, if FFP and things like that, we'll talk about FFP quickly as well. But I also don't have very much longer to talk, so we better keep rattling off. J Mac, how are you, my friend? We cannot compete for the best with our wage structure. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But there you go. There's that on Froholdt and Angel Gomez. All right. Also, heads up, there probably won't be a transfer roundup video tonight. Hands up, I'm going for a barbecue and I'm going to get quite drunk tonight. So probably not going to be doing it. All right. So apologies on that. That will start continuing again from Saturday onwards. Again, if I'm not going out drinking again. Don't know. We got some good news. We've got some good news today in the Andy world. So we are celebrating. No, not a Yazabal. I don't mind a Yazabal, but nah, not for me personally. I don't mind it, Gizty. Alan, how are you, my friends? Do you think we'll hear anything from Ange today? Let's say yes, But last time I said that, Alan, we were supposed to do a video last week because I said, "Oh, we'll hear about Ange by now." Don't I look like an idiot? Hope you're okay, though, Alan. Hope you're okay. Having a good week. Oh God, no, John. Can we come, MS? You're all invited. You're all invited to come get drunk with me. Not a problem. I'm not buying you all drinks, so I can't afford it. Let us know how are you, JMP? Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you. It's just basically a job offer. That's all. So we'll see. True Faith. Okay. True Faith might have outed themselves there. What would I like for number 6? The number 6 is a difficult one. Again, like I said, with the number 6, after watching Vitinha in the final for PSG, I don't think there's truly a need for this like crazy dominant number 6. That's not what football's all about anymore. Hell, I've watched Basuma annihilate big number 6s. So like it's not exactly the big deal. What you need a guy is someone who's smart who can read the game. Vitinha is that guy. Vitinha is the best 6 in the world due to Rodri's injury. So that's my attitude with it. You know, Tchouaméni, I think, is good. I think he's somewhat over-egged. Barca's number 6 is Frenkie de Jong. Inter Milan's number 6 is Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Who else is a good one? Liverpool's is Alexis McAllister. Trying to think of who else is a good. I mean, Aston Villa's might be Boubacar Kamara. So you know what I mean. It's not as necessary. It's a job. It's not an application. It's a job offer. Someone's offered me a job. So we'll see. I'll come in there and go. Well, what you can do for me? But thanks all. We can't look at my board yet. Fair enough, Alan. Where's the invite? You're all invited. You're all invited to always come drinking with me. I'm always up for a pint of Guinness or 12. Have I seen Levy's statement? Yeah, I saw it a long time ago, Luke. Yeah, PSG's midfield is exactly what Ange loves. You don't drink, so you'll be drinking all my summer fruits. Oh, well, I've got a new bottle of summer fruits today. Adventurous, where is he? Adventurous, new bottle of summer fruit squash today. Don't worry, panic averted. You know, the nuclear war has been averted. So good news. But although raspberry and rhubarb, very good. Moving on though, again, we've got more to talk about. I want to talk about Manor Solomon because I thought we were going to sell him. But apparently, Tom Barkley through the Sun Football saying that Tottenham squad is set to be boosted by the return of a league winner who hasn't played for the club in 2 years, and he's talking Manor Solomon. Manor Solomon returning to Tottenham. Why? I'll be real with you. Why? Obviously, there's baggage surrounding Solomon with some of the Leverkusen might part with Victor Boniface. Fair enough. Okay. Let's get Regal on a free as well. Be honest, thought you were going to announce a new child in the household. God no, mate. God no. Let's not. We're not. The new child is a new bottle of summer fruit squash. All right. Yeah, Beyonce's concert was lovely yesterday, wasn't it? But no, why are we doing this? Wasn't injury prone last. So there's a massive loud van going past. There we go. Finally, obviously had his injury issues with Spurs. Goes to Leeds, has a few injury issues, but then for the most part is healthy for the season. I don't trust our medical team to actually keep him fit. His value is at an all-time high. Cash in, get you 15 million. There are cash flow issues at Spurs. Use the 15 million, take that money, go off and improve the squad. He was always going to be a squad player. You know what I mean? It's like, really? Please no, Solomon. I've got to go, mate. Everyone in the chat, please like, subscribe. This is a top channel. Yeah, go and watch Alan's stuff. Tottenham Logic at TV. Go and watch Alan's stuff as well. a normal human being who has more than enough common sense to read between the lines on things. It's the best way I sum up Alan's content. You feel like you're having a discussion with Alan, that kind of thing. So go and watch his stuff, all right? I understand players ask it, but footballing wise, along with Perisic, he would have been our most productive winger. I mean, Son had over 20 goal contributions. So did Kulu. Johnson is probably our best attacking threat when it comes to our winger situation at the moment. He probably would have been fourth. He's probably going to be behind Tell now. People that want Mikey Moore to do well, they're not going to want Manor Solomon here because it's going to be taking minutes away from Mikey Moore. I think Odebear's upside is much higher than Solomon's as well. Watching Odebear for the under-21s for France again, playing a little bit in the midfield, you're like, that guy could play in the midfield. And we need to be open to the idea that he could play in the midfield because I think there's a talent in Wilson Odebear. Obviously, some of our fan base thinks he should be Lamine Yamal, which is obviously very cute of them. But I think there is a talent there with Odebear. But on Solomon, you've got 15 million just sitting on the table ready for you to take. If you're bringing him back in, I'm sorry, that just purely shows we are accepting and settling. We are settling. We're not trying to kick on. We're not trying to improve the squad. We're not trying to, as some fans want, to finish fifth because that's their trophy. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to be mid-table. Our wage bill is a construction of a mid-table side. This isn't it. Get the 15 million. Go and buy me a friggin' left back. Jesus wept, burnt. You know what I'm talking about. Go and get me a friggin' left back. Because if I've got to go through another summer where we don't buy a left back, I'm going to riot myself. I'm going to turn up to the training ground. I'm going to riot there. I'm going to riot at the stadium. I'm going to riot. Get me a friggin' left back. And I love Desier Doggy. But the brother could do with a little bit of rest here and there and have someone else who's credible. You know what I mean? All our fans are correct. We are a joke of a club sometimes. Yeah, I think us being a joke of a club 24/7 is a very overstated, lacking context. And the thing that we always talk about is context. The always thing that we always bring to all of our discussions. It's like after last international break, our league form wasn't great, but there was a few positives to take out of it that they can bring to the Europa League team, who obviously were a fantastic team, who won a European title, and it's won the first trophy in 17 years. Matisse Tell scoring a few goals, playing well. Richarlison scoring goals, playing well. Bringing that form into the Europa League side, who are in form and high in confidence, it added to it. It made it better, and Richarlison was a key part of it in the end. Context is key, though. You had 8 to 9 rotation. If you expected Matisse Tell to be unbelievable with a left back at centre back, a third choice left back who somehow is still at the club at left back, or Archie Gray playing 7 different positions. I think I was in goal at one point. I think I played centre back at one point as well. Like, be realistic. Solomon would be behind Son, guaranteed. He would be behind Tell, guaranteed. And I think he'd be behind Odebear as well. Why are you hating on Solomon? I'm not hating on Solomon. I think Solomon's a decent player. But if we want to, as a lot of Spurs fans want to be, top 5 in Champions League football every single year and not care about trophies, then he's not it. Take the money. Go and get a left back. That's going to be more crucial for our future, having 2 solid left backs. Yamal has potential. Why don't we get him? I think he might get some minutes behind Johnson. I can't guarantee it, though. I don't know. Wait till someone actually takes that as me being serious, by the way. Brilliant. Solomon fight for his position. What position? If you're in goal on the ball boy. DJ, mate, how are you? Happy Friday evening to you. Opinion on Loco's left back had that big injury, so I'm a little bit scared. I don't know how his season went in the end. I don't know how was Bradley Locko, actually. Let's have a look. Bradley. Was it an Achilles or something like that he got injured with? So he's at Brest. Yeah, he played 2 games this season. Stats, injury history. Here we go. Yeah, Achilles tendon rupture. He had it on August 16th. He's been out pretty much the whole season. Missed 45 games. Bloody hell. Look, he was a talent, but obviously, you know. But yeah, no, just injury, just stay away from him personally. I've got a Hotspur fight in my position too. Herb Bentancur will not sign until he knows about Ange. Don't know. Homegrown as a club train is just one of the many reasons to ditch Solomon. Yeah, the issue is right now at Spurs, the 1 in, 1 out. A lot of people said, a lot of people get annoyed by the article that came out. The Spurs need to sell before they buy. It's not a monetary reason. It might be a cash flow thing, but like for the most part, Spurs are already at capacity and then some of their squad for next season with non-homegrown players. Hence why Tomori's linked to us. Angel Gomez is linked to us. Jared Branthwaite was linked to us. There's probably more that I've not even thought about, to be honest. We need homegrown players coming into the squad this season. We need England players coming into the squad this season. Hence why moving Basuma and Ritchie actually fits what we need to be doing. Solomon fits what we're supposed to be doing. The squad is already bloated enough as it is. You need to move off of players. Eze. Adventure said it. Eze said it. That's right. That's another homegrown one. We'll have one of those. Someone saying until new manager has a look at him. Well, I hope the new manager goes no. If it is a new manager, if it's Ange, I hope he also goes no. But like, I mean, the article really says it's with a view of keeping him next season. We are settling. I love it. Buzzing. Bonkers, isn't it? Bro, first of all, Yamal wouldn't come, but he is the GOAT. Why can't he sub Johnson? Told you someone would nibble on it. I wouldn't say no to Villarreal left back Sergi Cardona. I don't know enough about him, mate. I won't lie. I don't know enough about him. Harvey Elliott's another one. Eze's another one. Yeah, on the FFP table. Sorry, I'm going to bring it up so I can read it to you. I was talking with some friends last night about it. Also, by the way, if you watch other content creators who have said, you know, a week ago, Ange is set to be sacked, right? And then tries to defend the fact they put it out, even though he's not been sacked, and try and defend that as it's just my opinion, then your title's misleading. You're profiteering off the toxicity at the club, and you're profiteering off a difficult time at the club. That's disgusting. And then in turn, say a week later, I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not going to speculate, add fuel to the fire. And then the next day, add fuel to the fire and speculate. You're literally a problem. There's others that have gone, well, we can't win a trophy next season with Ange. I'm like, literally 2 games ago for Spurs, we won a trophy. Can you tell me who the manager was? Can you tell me who the guy on the sideline was? No, it wasn't your wet dream, Pochettino, Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, Stellini, Mason. I'm pretty sure it was an Australian fella called Ange Postecoglou. The fan base just does my head in online. They're just so miserable 24/7. Like, life's too short. Go and touch some grass. It's raining outside. The rain probably could do you some good. Go outside and touch some grass. Freaks. Anyway, the FFP thing. Spurs are 4th behind Man City, Brighton, and Chelsea. With Chelsea, it's because they've been selling assets and things like that. That's why. Brighton's is due to basically selling players to Chelsea. City haven't really spent a lot of money net in the last sort of few windows. They've been selling players as well. And, you know, selling players like Cole Palmer, massive FFP bonus, things like that, right? Spurs are 4th. Manchester United are 5th, but that's down to Ratcliffe's investment. But we're fourth, and then people go, well, why the hell do we have to sell before we buy? It isn't down to FFP. It is down to the squad size and situation, and that's what we need to. And that's what we need to be aware of, That's what we need to be aware of. Ange knows, Madison Spence, Jono, Solanke. But it's the issue. It's like we need more. That's why I think Branthwaite and Tamori are going to be one of the centre backs we go for. Hell, if there's a left back who's English that's solid, let's go for them. I keep talking about bloody left backs. Eze, that's another one that we're linked to. Is there any? Yeah, we were linked to Liam Delap, weren't we? There's a lot of the English players. If you see a trend this summer, we're linked to a lot of English players. He hits KPI. We love KPIs. Ian, thank you, mate. Spot on. J-Mac, yeah. Appreciate that, Bob and Sean. It's disgusting. Some of the fan base and like some of the content creators really are profiteering off the club's demise of happiness. Not demise. We want a European trophy. It's not a demise. That's incredible. Club trained. Yeah, we won't be able to fix club trained this summer. We have one club trained academy player for Europe, which is Brandon Austin. So I would expect maybe a situation where, because we're going to be down another academy train because Alfie's gone, which I expect them to keep Alfie just for the hell of it because he's academy trains and it give you more room to keep another player in there. Look, they could go Carl Walker-Peters. I'm just saying he's homegrown and academy trained. They could go that route. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm just saying they could go that route. They could bring back Harry Kane, Oliver Skipp and Harry Winks. That would cure it as well, but they're not going to. Obviously, I'm just joking. So yeah, there's that on that side of things. All right. It does have interest. I like Leif Davis, but I'm not really that blown away. What do you mean, Sean? Give us both the Alfies. Why not? Grealish. We're linked Grealish. Mark Guay. We're linked with 8 to 10 English players. If you can see, that's where Spurs' head is this summer because they need to be. It's like we're linked heavily with Conor Gallagher. There's a reason, So there's that on the English side of things. We'll see on that. I would like Jared Branthwaite. I think he ticks a few different boxes. An English left back would do no harm. Or if they view Spence as a left back, then English right back could do no harm. Eberechi Eze. I know this might be a rogue one to say, but I'll keep hammering that drum until I can't hammer that drum anymore. That Eberechi Eze is the guy that we should be going for. But yeah, that's what I'm saying with like Solomon, players like that. Just cash in. Just cash in on him. It's a good time. Values at highest. Cash in on. I've got to finish up in a minute. I've got to go get a haircut. But cash in on. Basuma and Richie. Cash in on. Ben Davies might be leaving. There is a lot of players that's going to be leaving this club. Brian Hill, another player. Alejo Veliz could be leaving. There's a lot of players that will be leaving the club this summer. Replace him with some English youngsters. But I also said last thing about that PSR table. I think everyone's going to comply this year, but there's a few teams that are on the ropes. And they may need to sell one or two just to be guaranteed they'll be all right. There will be a bit of a fire sale in football in probably about a week to 2 weeks' time, right? In regards to teams wanting to get a few players off the books, get a few quid into the bank, comply with PSR, no issues. Teams like Chelsea and Manchester City and Brighton and Spurs will look at that and go, brilliant. You're having a fire sale. It's going to be a little bit cheaper. Let's cash in on them. We did it with Nottingham Forest with Johnson. We did it with Everton with Richarlison. It's not something we're new to. It's something we try and take advantage of. And we need to do it again, in my opinion, because there might be one or two deals that we can really benefit from. Because the new financial PSR year starts July 1st. So teams are then going to have a full year to do their business again. Teams right now might be looking and going, could do with maybe moving off of one or two just to make sure. Yeah, let's get these players gone. It's like Villa might sell a Nana to Saudi. They might be cashing on Ollie Watkins. I'm not saying they won't comply. I'm just saying they're on the table, they are deemed at risk. Doesn't mean they will be at risk. I'm just saying they're deemed that. So, yeah, there's a lot in that really to take from. I think we will have an opportunity to maybe cash in on some prey when it comes to financial fair play, but we shouldn't base our business around that. We should still be basing our business around quality and smart deals. We're not spending 250 million this summer. So you're working with a limited budget. You don't have a blank checkbook like what Liverpool seem to have and City seem to have and Arsenal seem to have. You're working within a budget this year. We need to make sure that we're doing smart business. And by the way, you can still get great quality for cheaper prices. Desi Doggy was 13 million. Pape Matar, about the same. Lucas Bergval, 8.5 million. Like, you can still get great value without having to spend 60, 70, 80 million on players. Just be smart about that. Dibbling's another one, J-Mac. Yeah, Dibbling's another one. So we'll sort of see. At your haircut, don't mention the cup win until he's finished. Matt, as soon as I sit down, he's going to go, come on then, let me have it. And I'll go, Johnson again. But yeah, we'll sort of see on that one. Get the THFC etched on your head on one side. My mates would bully me. I can't have them bullying me. Lang data approach to find the gems. Exactly. Froholdt could be the next one up. We'll sort of see on that one. But look, thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate all your support, likes, comments, subscribes, everything. Super chat, Sean as well. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate it. The channel is growing every single day due to you legends. It's not me, it's you. Thank you so much for that today. If for any reason breaking news happens, I will still try and go live. I might be half cut, but we'll still try and go live. But regardless, I'll be back tomorrow to talk a lot more about Tottenham. Please enjoy the rest of your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are in the world. And I'll speak to you all soon to talk more about Tottenham. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Peace.